You know, there's an invasion happening right now, all across the world. It's silent, it's unseen, and it's not making the front page news. But believe me, it's affecting everything from our local parks to the global economy.
And no, this isn't the plot of a sci-fi movie. The invaders aren't coming from some distant planet. We're talking about a biological invasion, one made up of plants and animals that are crossing borders and literally reshaping the world as we know it.
So, what do we call them? The official term is Invasive Alien Species, or IAS for short. Now, the key thing to get here is they're not just tourists. These are species that show up in a new place, make themselves at home, and then they start causing some serious trouble for the native wildlife that was there first.
So how in the world do they get around? Well, they are expert hitchhikers. They sneak into the ballast water of massive cargo ships, hide out in shipping containers, or sometimes, and this is the crazy part, we're the ones who roll out the red carpet for them. We bring them in for farming or hunting with absolutely no idea of the chaos that's about to be unleashed.
This all begs a really important question. What makes these species so darn good at taking over? It's like they have a special toolkit, a secret set of weapons that lets them not just survive, but completely dominate new territories.
Let's call them superpowers, because that's really what they are. First off, they reproduce and grow at lightning speed. They can also spread out over huge areas like it's nothing. They're masters of adaptation, literally changing their bodies or behaviors to fit in. Plus, they aren't picky eaters. They'll eat just about anything. But here's the real kicker, their ultimate weapon. In their new home, there are often no predators, no natural enemies to keep them in check. They can just multiply and multiply.
So when you've got a species with a toolkit like that, it's no surprise they leave behind a trail of destruction. And this isn't a small problem anymore. It has blown up into a full-scale global crisis. Just look at this number. Hundreds of billions of dollars. That's the estimated economic cost every single year. That figure covers everything from ruined crops and damaged forests to all the money we pour into just trying to control them. I mean, that's more than the entire GDP of many countries. It's absolutely staggered.
But you know, the cost isn't just about money. Far from it. Invasive species are now recognized as one of the single biggest reasons we are losing biodiversity on this planet. They aren't just a pest, they are actively pushing native species to the brink of extinction.
And the evidence is just devastating. In Africa's Lake Victoria, the introduced Nile perch literally ate hundreds of native fish species into extinction. On the island of Guam, the brown tree snake all but silenced the forests by wiping out the native birds. We've all heard the horror stories about rabbits in Australia. And here in North America, the tiny little zebra mussel has completely rewired the ecosystem of the Great Lakes. Sometimes an invader is so bad, so destructive, it earns itself a nickname. In India, there's one plant that became known simply as the Terror of Bengal.
And this is it, the Water Hyacinth. People originally brought it over because, well, it has beautiful flowers, but it escaped and it started to completely choke rivers and lakes. It forms these thick, dense mats on the surface that block all the sunlight from getting through, and it literally sucks the oxygen right out of the water, killing fish and pretty much everything else living underneath.
And the threat doesn't stop at the environment's edge. This can hit us directly, right where we live. Remember those zebra mussels from the Great Lakes? They filter water, which sounds good, but it means they collect all the nasty toxins in their bodies. Then, other animals eat them, those toxins get passed up the food chain, and can end up on our dinner plates. Now, to really bring this issue home, let's look at India. According to the Zoological Survey of India, this is the number of alien invasive animal species that have been officially recorded, 157. And get this, that number doesn't even include the plants. The real total is much, much higher. And here are just a few of the troublemakers. You've got shrubs like Prosopis juliflora that suck up precious groundwater. The Amazon sailfin catfish, which is just tearing through native fish populations. You've got pests like the papaya mealybug that can wipe out entire crops, and the African apple snail, which is a growing threat all across the country.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty grim, I know, but it's not a hopeless fight. Not by a long shot. People are fighting back. So let's talk about how we're resisting this global invasion.
One of the big ideas is biological control. Basically, you fight fire with fire by introducing a natural enemy of the invader. And sometimes it works like a charm. The Vidalia beetle, for example, saved California's citrus industry. But it is a huge gamble. The ultimate cautionary tale is the cane toad in Australia. It was brought in to eat a beetle, but it decided it wasn't interested and instead became a toxic, poisonous nightmare of its own.
Of course, there are other tools in the shed. You can physically remove them, literally pulling weeds out of the ground, or you can use chemicals like pesticides. But both of those options can be super expensive, take a ton of work, and, let's be honest, can cause their own environmental problems.
And that's why today, the approach is a lot smarter. It's called Integrated Pest Management, or IPM. It's not about finding one single silver bullet. It's a whole process. It's about constant monitoring, focusing on prevention, and then using a mix of control methods in a way that's sustainable and does the least amount of harm.
But you know what? At the end of the day, the best strategy is just stopping these guys from getting here in the first place. Prevention is everything. This is where laws and regulations are so critical. Things like India's plant quarantine order. They create a first line of defense at the borders, checking imports to make sure no unwanted hitchhikers are sneaking into the country.
So, we've looked at the invaders, the damage they cause, and the fight to stop them. And it all boils down to one final, really important question for all of us.
Think about it. Our world is more connected than ever. Goods and people are zipping around the globe faster than at any point in history. That just means more and more highways for these invaders to travel on. So this isn't just a problem for governments or scientists to solve. It's a question for every single one of us. What's our role in stopping the next invasion? Because the next stowaway could be in a package that's on its way to your door right now.